now.
All right, welcome to first episode of Liquid Exploration. Oh, hold on. I gotta open mine.
Oh, damn it.
First,
I had already opened mine.
is
I
it
didn't
already?
know.
Did you finish it
Yeah.
already?
Well, I'm almost there, but
Well, it's first episode of Liquid Exploration, or I like to call it Hops and Cocks, and because it's not. I mean, we're drinking beer, but it hopefully will go into more than that. I'm Brian Carvely. Let's let my
I'm Jason Sanders.
There it goes. So we want to go so bad with words. This is
man, you're
terrible.
just like killing it right now. So Liquid Exploration is going to be a collaboration. We're going to talk about beer. We're going to talk about distilleries. We're going to talk about coffee, and we're going to talk about community and how we can create all this. You can't even talk. What are you doing over there?
You're going to talk about coffee. I don't know. Obviously, no one, if anybody's watching, they don't know us generally, but you know me and I know you, and I know you like coffee. I don't know if you remember the last conversation we had as we walked out of, what was that place in Denver that we went to?
Yeah, I don't recall after we got done with some work or whatever at lunchtime, but
oh God.
I love some coffee. Yeah, we were talking about we were talking about espresso machines and the I don't remember what that guy,
the barista, you talking about your Slayer machine you wanted, and
then he was talking about the bars on the press, and he just was geeking out, man, just going to town. I'm like, I like coffee, but I can't even keep up with some of that, you know.
He's like, here we got this, and if you go 4 doors down, there's another coffee shop, and they got this machine. I'm like, all right, just stop, just give me my coffee with my almond milk, and I want to get out. All right.
Right. You're down to some almond milk, huh? So you are a coffee snob. Deep down, you just
so here's
won't admit it. You won't admit it.
All I want is you to drizzle as much fucking caramel as you can in that cup. I don't want it to settle to the bottom.
I don't know. You just said drizzle. You got way more. Your vocabulary expands past come and go, buddy. So deep down, I know you're a coffee guy.
So, all right. Can I tell you? Can I tell you a quick story about coffee before we get into this nonsense that we're trying to do? So I went to their franchise. I don't know if we can really say their name. We'll just say they're like Starbucks, but they got a moose as a logo, or an elk, whatever it is. I went there.
Other animal.
The other animal, yeah. I went in there. What's crazy is they're just a franchise. Why are they giving me sass? But here's the sass that they gave me. I asked for a iced caramel macchiato, and she said, that's not a real drink. I was like, well, it is, because you know it's a real drink, and I know it's a real drink. So she's like, yeah, but that's a Starbucks drink. I was like, yes, but you know what it is, so it's a real drink.
We should just bite our tongue about the whole, the SB company, because I don't even know where to go from there. Everywhere you go, that's actually a legit company. They constantly are correcting people over those
all the
terms and the vocab that they order. So
there was some other place a long time ago, somewhere on 16th Street or near there, the guy, I think he lives in the shop pretty much. His whole life is coffee, and I asked for that, and I'm pretty sure he wanted to murder me. I was like, can you just give me what it is? What do you think it is? Do that. All I want you to do is put ice in coffee and put a bunch of fucking caramel in it, and then give it to me.
Right. Well, let's move on from, but real quick, before we move on, big shout out to Corvus, because Corvus up in Denver is pretty legit. They're the guys that geek out over coffee and the espresso machines that are just way too expensive for anybody to own, and that's why we go to those the small coffee shops. So
I don't like coffee, but the machines are so cool looking. I would own one and never use it. It would just sit there.
I'm telling you, when you get a chance, man, Google Slayer coffee machines, and they're the most beautiful piece of art you could ever own. You won't even know how to operate the damn thing, but it's this pretty machine that well, if you can afford one, please purchase one, and I'll come over and use it, because it's fun.
Maybe
So
one day. I mean, I don't know. I'll have it next to my Keurig machine, and I'll put that little cup in there, and then
get out
get
of here.
the fucking diarrhea that it pours out.
Keurig, get out of here.
Oh, man, it's so easy. All of it tastes the same to me. But
All right.
besides coffee, we'll get to that. We'll see what happens. I don't know if it's just going to be falling asleep in a chair as like you and the other person talk about your
I'll
coffee.
just be pouring coffee down your throat to keep you up. All right, wake up.
You and Jerry Seinfeld can talk shop and coffee.
Hey, okay, so liquid explorations. Tell me about beer. What was your first beer?
First beer was probably just like a shitty Budweiser, I think, a long time ago. Probably I think it was like a Super Bowl. My dad let me have a beer, but I don't think I really got into beer until I came out here with the scene in Colorado. I mean, in California. I mean, I moved out here when I was 20, so I just would sneak beers when I could, like every dumb teenager could. And when I was in high school, I didn't drink because our football team was so bad. We always had to fucking practice on Saturdays. So I didn't want to come to practice all hungover and dying in the heat like the rest of my team did. So I
Right.
never really drank until I hit about 18, 19 years old. And then even then it was like wine. I mean, I'll talk shop on wine all day. I love that stuff.
So funny thing, I don't know how many pictures I have as a kid with me running around with like a little beer in my hand, and every time my mom's like running, instead of like, and this is like 80s, right? Like instead of
Right.
like grabbing the beer out of my hand, like she's like running for like a camera to take a picture. And so who knows how many like gulps I got out of that damn thing, before this. But
So that's like my dad. Anytime, I'm sure that's why I suck as an adult now, because it's just a bad behavior. My dad's like, oh, I got to snap it. He does it with my niece now. He's got all kinds of videos of her doing whatever and pictures.
like,
This it wasn't me. It was my sister, but she was about 4 years old, and he took her to the racetrack, Hollywood Park, I think,
yeah.
and she kept bugging him, saying, Dad, I'm thirsty. I'm thirsty. He's like, hold on. I think a race was going or something, or he was prepping for the next one, maybe looking through the newspaper or the sports paper or whatever it is for the horses. And he kept telling her, hold on, I'll go get you something to drink. He had a Budweiser in his hand like this. And he said,
Damn.
as he was
bad.
looking through, he said he felt his hand tip like this. And she's taking a sip out of it, and he was like, well, she wasn't complaining and she was fine after, so not to get in trouble, he took the program, that's what it is, the program, and covered it over it so no one could see, let her get her sip that she needed, and then he like went back. He's like, are we good now? She's like, yeah. He's like, okay. Perfect.
He's like, and then right after that she took a nice quick nap.
Yeah, I bet
it was all good. That's funny. So like in high school, like I grew up going to the river with my grandparents, and like I would, same thing, like sneak random beers with my great grandparents, and they always drank like Olympia beer. And I remember like, do you remember like the old school Winnebagos where it's like you get the car and then like the cab that goes over like the car, My grandparents used to like fill that whole like bedding right there with just flats of Olympia beer. Jesus. So it's like they would but they would go for like months, and then the place didn't have like a liquor store nearby, so that's like what their jam was, So, but in high school, we used to like go and get warm MGD from the liquor store, and then my buddy Goose, what's that sad face, man? Warm MGD? You didn't like warm MGD?
Come on, beer. No.
Warm. You're not German, you mean?
I'm not from, I don't have that warm lager that they like to drink out in England and Germany and stuff, where they brag that they're real drinkers and we're not. I'll take my cold beer. I have no problem with it.
Well, now it's like lukewarm beer. They don't do that shit anymore. It's like they're too sophisticated for that as well. But I do got a whole German beer thing that I'm like super like want to talk about. But so anyways, like in high school, like my buddy used to get my buddy's brother used to get Red Hook. And that stuff back in the day was like, that was some potent stuff, man. We would have like a few of those and it would be game over, man. So I don't know. Maybe that's where I get my high ABV now,
Yeah, from
So
your warm MGB. What
my
was
war.
the Steel Reserve? I remember kids would drink
Oh
Steel
man,
Reserve all the time. And then there was one, what, Cobra? Was that another one? Or something like
Cobra.
that? Ugh.
Yeah. OE. I mean, they got a whole. I don't even want to like relive those not so glory days back then,
No,
man.
yeah. I
They're
mean, I won't act like a cool guy and say I was part of it. I definitely wasn't, you know. I was just like, oh, all right. Like the kids in school, there was it's not a beer, but Sparks. It looked like an energy drink can, and they would, where
uh,
the volume was, kids would just hold their hand over it and sit in class and just, teachers were none the wiser.
we're gonna have to have some of my buddies on, and they can like relive a lot of the more memory based stories of our high school days than I can, because man, we had a good old time. But so why are we creating liquid exploration?
We got drunk one time in a beer and started talking about it because it made sense. I don't know. It made sense to me at the time. There you go. Um, we were in a local microbrewery here in Colorado Springs.
Lost friends. Shout out
Lost
to Lost
friends.
Friends, man.
Yeah, it was. They got some interesting beers over there. I like the environment. You know, it's a cool little area.
Did
And
we get in there? And I remember the first thing you said was like, "Is this RX Bandits? Are they playing?" You were like,
yeah.
This
So they were.
is a jam, man."
He was
I was
playing
like,
RX
"Yeah,
Bandits, Thrice, just like because he said. I think he said he made like a Thrice um radio station, and it was
yeah."
like, which is weird that RX Bandits showed up with it, but that's fine. I'm totally down with it. And I
Well,
got
when
my
you like usually put
side
RX
shirt on.
some bass side right there, I see that.
Yeah.
When you put RX Bandits on, it just doesn't even come up with any other stations at all. So that was pretty cool that he
No,
either
yeah.
created a playlist or lucked out on some super sweet jams.
But where I don't know why I thought. I think did I come up with the idea? I don't. It feels like we've been going to microbrew so much, and when we sit there and drink to not get drunk, um,
Take a cab.
take a cab, and just have these conversations. I don't see why not. I mean, I know there's plenty of other people doing the same thing, but you know, we can join the crowd and
So I
see what
think it's
happens.
cool. So I mean, recently, like you've gotten your little homebrew thing, and I've sort of done my
Yeah.
homebrew thing for a while. And I think we were like sitting there looking at all that like super shiny stainless steel
I
equipment,
know. I
just
love
like
looking at
chit
that stuff.
chatting about all the stuff about homebrew. So we were like, dude, it would be cool just to be able to sit down, interview the brewers, talk
Right.
about like their process, and like get in touch with a lot of local brewers about what they're doing and how they're doing it. And but not only like the local brewers at home, I thought it was cool like to incorporate it with actual brewers themselves and maybe give us home brewers like a tip and some tricks and of the trade. And so I think that's where it really like was driven from. And then just like the love of beer, love beer
I
community,
love beer.
just bringing people together in different avenues and food. It's like I'm not a skinny kid. I'm not a heavy
No,
kid. Well, I'm a heavy kid. I'm not a fat
you're a
kid.
fat kid.
I guess I'm a fat kid too, but come on.
I mean, yeah,
Um,
it's yeah, that's definitely where it came from. I mean, just like that's why I wanted to interview the brewers. I mean, I'm drinking who are the WeldWorks Brewing. And this thing's called Bam Bam Rubble Rubble, which is it's just like the Fruity Pebbles beer, which is amazing. Like I always got in trouble for never drinking the milk in my cereal. So my dad was like, either drink the milk or stop putting it in there. So I started just eating cereal dry. But I mean, if it tasted like this, I would have drank it every time. Like it's amazing. And it's like if we went from, as we stated earlier, that terrible warm lager that the Germans drank to something delicious like this now.
so
Our
I
boss
want to
would have,
know, did WeldWorks hire somebody to come up with that damn name, or did they just have like somebody in their back room smoking a bowl, just like
yeah, see,
this is like that? That's the name. That's what
that's
we're
what I
going
want to
with,
know.
man. Like,
Where are you guys coming up with these
where did
ideas, and where did it
right?
start for you? Why is it, are you like literally just going, let's just test the limits and see what we get. Like, who cares at this point? Let's just we'll make the standards, and then from there we're just gonna make whatever.
Right. Yeah. No, and I'm drinking one of my like favorite Colorado,
Eddie
well,
line. I
Eddie
almost got that
line.
today. I'm glad
Love
I
some
did.
BV, you know, when you're out in
Eddie line's
Colorado and Buena Vista, make sure you stop by BV and drink some of their stuff. So I always try to have a positive day. So any day I can have an epic day is, you know, even a little bit better. So
Yeah. Well, what is it? Weldworks is in Greeley, so I don't know. I mean, that gives you an idea. There's UNC up there. They're definitely not.
dude, they're
It's
gonna be
not
opening in the springs here, I think like any month now. I think if we
really.
didn't have COVID, I think they would have been open
Dang it.
heck months ago, you know. So that's one, you know, chalk that up is one more thing we don't have because of the Rona.
I know.
But
Which I'm glad they're starting to open more microbrews here. Like, obviously, I don't. Denver was always like they got that little booklet of like the beer tour, and then it was
yeah,
only a few places here, but now it's really starting to grow. Counterpart to it's Denver. I mean, there's other places kind of spread, you know, scattered along Colorado Springs, but Denver seemed to be always the place to go for those microbrews. Which
yeah. I
now
mean, they were
Colorado
like
Springs.
what 3 times like the population of the Springs, you know. So
Yeah.
but I think it's cool the surrounding areas. I mean, how many like small towns are popping up with these breweries that are just sort of like destination breweries now? You know,
Right.
I mean, that's the way I look at it. Like I go out to Lake City during the summer for a week. I'm going to Lake City Brewing, you know, and then on the way
Right.
back, instead of hitting up, you know, some like big corporate restaurant, I'm hitting up like a small restaurant, you know, and I think it's like Ironbird and Florissant is on the way
Yeah.
back when, you know, when I come home. So it's like, I think it's cool because I could stop by, have some decent food, and also have some pretty good beers, you know?
Which is what, since we've been talking about that, I've been trying to do that more when I've been going, you know, from wherever outside of Colorado Springs. I've been trying to
Yeah.
find different microbrews to go check out and see what their beers like. I mean, some of the places you go to, you're like, yeah, I had this at another place. It's not like they branch out and do anything too special. But it's still just cool to check out and see what you get. I mean, it's the microbrews is the new Froyo. Like, it was when back in the early 2000s when Froyo was huge. Now
Right.
it's microbreweries, and which
Dude,
is something that I don't think will
I
die.
miss
Froyo is
Pinkberry.
dead.
I miss Pinkberry.
Are they
That shit
completely
was
gone?
bomb. I think they're gone.
Mm.
I think like too many other places popped up and they're gone. But I
Like, you can only
mean,
have so much Froyo. I mean, it's.
I know. But
I
I
love that
can't.
thing, like,
I can drink a lot of beer though. So I mean, I don't want those dudes to, you know, pack up and head out.
yeah, true. At least like no one's lying to you. They're like, well, the microbrews are better than regular brews or whatever. Like, this like Froyo is healthier than ice cream. Get out of here.
No.
It's like the
Dude,
same
who
thing.
said that anybody's lying about microbrews are better than regular brews? That's a true fact.
No, they're tastier, but it's not like they're way better. Don't like Coors. And no offense to Coors or Budweiser. I know they've been around for a long time and they keep to their standards. But I want like
rice aspect.
I want variety and stuff like that. But like I remember the whole driving point to Froyo was that Froyo was better for you than ice cream was, which
was that it?
Yeah, that was. But even if it was, people put like 9,000 pounds of gummy bears and sprinkles on their Froyo.
Yeah.
So what? Like, you're defeating. It's like getting a salad and then putting a ton of Caesar like dressing on it. It's
so at the time when all that Froyo bang came about, my wife and I lived in Long Beach and in California. So we would walk down to the like downtown. We lived like right in Belmont Shores. It was like, you know, we lived like a quarter of a mile from like this main strip, all the bars. We'd go down there, drink, do all this stuff. It was like super cool. One day my wife comes home and she's like, hey, this frozen yogurt place like came into town, like I want to check it out. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Like, man, okay, let's go. Right? Because we gotta like I always give in, you know. So I'm like, let's go do this. We go down and it's Pinkberry. Dude, I had Pinkberry for like the first time. Like I get it. I come home and I'm like, that shit was horrible. Like I'm never going back. 2 days later, I'm like fucking there. And then like 4 days later, I'm there. And like every day for like a week. But after a while, I was like, gosh damn it, man. Like this place got me hooked. That damn like plain tart yogurt, dude, just like hooked me in. But I only liked it with like getting strawberries. That was like my offset. I'm gonna put some strawberries and kiwi on it, and I'm gonna be good to go. I'm healthy, you know.
That's froyo. It's still not healthy.
No, so was it, dude? But I mean, like that was like the lie I'm telling myself, you know. It's like, well, if I'm eating something like this delicious, it's healthy for me.
I did the same thing before I moved out here, where I would go to the gym and do whatever the hell I was doing, which wasn't really much at the point. And then I would go to Subway and grab a sandwich, which is garbage food. No offense to Subway, but then I would go to Starbucks and hit on the barista that worked there and get my green tea, which they put like 6 pumps of sugar in there, by the way. I thought I was being healthy, but they were like, no, sucker, we're getting sugar full of it. And then I would go to Golden Spoon is the one I would go to, and I would have the froyo over there because my friend worked there.
Yep.
And then I moved here and got even more fat.
Well, that's what happens when fat kids drink beer.
No, that's why I had to. Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm a vegan, but yet I'm still fat because I can't stop. I had to slow down and drink a beer because it was getting pretty excessive. And I just kept telling Catherine, I was like, "It's research. I got to figure out which ones I want to drink for this."
Which was better? Well, when you're drinking your cereal in a can, you know, I mean, it all adds up. So good. But hey, so WeldWorks, it's dude, I got some pretty good beers from WeldWorks actually. We'll probably jump into those like next episode, but. Just one of the big ones is the Juicy Bits. Those things, man, are like, so Megan, my wife, she loves like a Blue Moon. She loves like a, I can't even think of the name of those damn beers because I don't like them. Like what is it? Belgian? We'll get a real Floepa later, but you know, so that style of beer is really her jam, and it's actually a really good IPA. It's sort of like a hazy IPA, but it's a good beer. But man, there's just so many like big beers are coming out of that place. It's unreal. Like I'm gonna give a shout out to Newton's Liquor off of Interquest because that place. Man, you go in that place and you can't find anything. Like walk in the back cooler and they love you back there. They want to see you back there because they're like getting in these beers and they're just like buy them because we're like the more you buy them, like the more they are willing to find the oddities from all over like the state, which I think is like super cool.
Yeah. I mean that's
and it's like unreal. Like these guys are like coming up with beers like all over the place. So we were in there. My brother-in-law was in town for Christmas. He's going to college at University of Minnesota. We go in there, we're looking, and he's like talking about, he's like, yeah, man, like, you know, there's a lot of microbrews out in Minnesota. And I was like, really? Like, tell me about them. We're going over stuff. We're just talking about it. We go to check out after I won't even tell, like $117, I think it was, of beer. I was like, what the junk? But we like walked out with like a variety of just amazingness. I mean, it was so good, all the stuff that comes out. And as we're walking out, he like sees the owner of Newton sees my brother-in-law's hat and is like, hey, are you from, you know, Minnesota? And he's like, no, I go to University of Minnesota. And he's like, oh, well, one of my best friends owns this liquor store. And he's like, yeah, we have like this partnership and we trade beers all the time. And so I just thought it was super cool, you know, like a small town liquor store. There's only like one of them. And he's like going out of his way to like trade beers with other states. And that's how he's bringing in like big beers. So, you know, just like I said, shout out to that place just because he's bringing in like such good beers, you know, and like that's all he wants to do is just serve the people. He's just like, I just want you guys to be able to come in, get the beers that you want, good beers, and that's the end of like the total game, you know?
Yeah.
Which, that's cool.
Mean, that's the only place I'm going to go to now. Unless I'm in Denver, I'll go up to Tipsy's, which is an amazing place because it's like literally walking into a Vons or Kroger store, but it's just alcohol. It's so huge. But I went to that Twin Peaks place, and right when I didn't even think they would have, I thought they would have like most of the liquor stores here. If you go to the back, it's all just same Newtons. It's all fridges. There it was like 3 fridges, and then they put everything else on the shelf because apparently they thought it was Utah, and you're not allowed to have anything cold there because Utah has the most craziest liquor laws in the world. Which, if you are the person that I went to
Utah in the world, with, we won't say not in the world.
Oh, in America, maybe. I have to go top shelf with my words. If you are like the person I went to Utah with, that doesn't defeat you from it. It only, if you're an alcoholic, it only provides a challenge that you're like, oh, they want you to take the beer in Utah. They want you to take it home, put it in the fridge first, get it cold, drink it, then beat, your wife or your dog or whatever you do. But if you are,
I drink warm beer, so I don't need the fridge.
No,
I don't need the fridge.
He drank an entire 6-pack before we even got back to the hotel. He just took it out of the liquor store and then just started pounding one after another. He's like, I'm going to drink it before I get back then. Screw these guys. I won't drink warm beer. I refuse to. I don't even like it was 10 degrees the other day, and I got an iced caramel macchiato from Starbucks. I don't like hot coffee. I don't want warm beer. It has to be iced. It has to be cold. If everything had those mountains on my cans, they would all be blue.
Hey, what has the Rona taught you? What has the Rona taught you?
That I can go outside and wear
buy local, support local.
Yeah. I mean,
coffee, beer, restaurants, all of it. Don't buy the SB. Don't buy the SB.
Well, what coffee shops are around? I mean, that's it. I have a girlfriend that doesn't like talking to people, so she can just type up on the app and go, give me this, and then they're like, here you go. So we go to Starbucks.
Just out of a thinking of 1 second out of my brain, Loyal Coffee, which is right by you. They do online ordering.
Yeah.
Same thing. You call up. No, I think they even have an app nowadays. You can do that. There's Wesley Owens Coffee a little bit north of you that does that. I think there's even a coffee place like even closer than Loyal Coffee that does that. It's like CNS Coffee or something like that does that. Look for your local. Look for local.
So okay. So I'm not trying to alienate. There we go. Alienate any possible people that actually enjoy watching us have a conversation. And I get that we haven't established that you are all about supporting local. Okay. I will say I don't give a fuck. I keep seeing these commercials, support local, we're closing down, please help us. I don't give a shit. What'd you do wrong? There's other local places that are still going. So when you die,
all the damn people that are too big and have money, they just, oh man, we're not gonna go there tonight. I don't have 5 hours to debate you.
I think capitalism will work. You'll die. Somebody else will take your place. It's fine. If I don't like your food, I'm not going to go there. If I don't want your coffee, if you're not going to give me an excess amount of caramel, I don't need to go there.
Nobody wants to give you drizzle on your damn drink.
I want drizzles upon drizzles. Don't even put the liquid in there yet. Take the cup and then just start drizzling.
Yeah,
one girl twist it and then put the caramel. I want it to like cotton candy swirl of caramel.
All right, so where are you? Let's go about where you are in Colorado.
I'm on
Give me your address so I can come over and everybody else that can come over and beat your ass for just making dumbass comments.
My phone number is social.
So
I
Monument,
don't know.
right?
I don't have no. I'm not being stalked by my own dog right now, so I don't have that issue at the moment.
Earlier, literally, I thought your dog was gonna roll up on you, and then like just be like one of those horror movies where like every 5 seconds she's just gonna be like
Right.
4 inches closer,
Yeah. So she was
like
like
want to
sitting
eat
back
you.
there, sitting
Yeah,
back there, just staring. But she likes to go there because there's the window. She's a Bernese Mountain Dog, so she's hot all the time, which is understandable. But like, I just wanted her to lay down, and she was just sitting, staring like a weirdo because that's what she does. I'm up on Monument. Yeah, there's nothing really. Well, we got like there's a tap house out here, Brass Tap. You know, there's no real breweries. I mean, I'm up by Newton, so I can go pick up beer there, which that's what I'm gonna do from now on because I thought Twin Peaks would be nice. I've been to other liquor stores, and it's just Newton's just like you were saying. They got a great selection. And
speaking of what was it, the Peak Peak Brewing or Peak Liquor or whatever it was that you went to?
Twin Peaks, yeah.
Twin Peaks. So I think it was last year, somebody really wanted what they owned in that store and drove a van like right through the windows. Like, yeah, like just like full on, just like full speed, like took out the damn windows, hopped out, like jacked a bunch of stuff inside that place, and then bounced. And it was like, I think they went on like a spree of like 3 or 4 liquor stores and they just like smash and grab. I didn't hear if they got caught or not, but apparently they got some like good stuff that you just don't know about in that joint. Cause like, who does that? Like nobody does that
Just
unless
liquor.
you're just like some like 18-year-old kid that's just like deprived, and can't find a hookup somehow, I guess. But
You can't find a homeless guy just to like that was what everybody did back in the day. You give the guy
right,
$10, you're like, can you just give me this and keep the change?
right.
Call it a day.
I mean, that's what we used to do, like roll up and just until we found like a place that would allow us to go in and like grab beers. But hey, hey, I got like 50. Can you buy me $40 worth of stuff and keep the 10 spot?
Yeah.
Hook me up. That's why I always drank warm beer because they would just like roll in, grab like the warm beer, and then get what you get. Don't throw a fit, right? Like that's
Sounds terrible.
shitty. That's a kid's motto right there, by the way. Looking at you.
Get what you get.
So, well, cool. Why Colorado? Why choose Colorado for beer? I mean, like, what's great about Colorado and beer?
Dude, I think we got tons of breweries. I mean, granted, I haven't traveled enough. I had one brewery in Georgia, which I've went to a couple liquor stores to see if they could go grab it, and they're like, "Well, just for you, we can't do it. It needs to be a bigger order." But it was Brick House or Jailhouse, one of the two, whatever the name was. I'm pretty sure it was Brick House, and the beer was Jailhouse, and it was a chocolate stout that was unbelievable. It was so good. It was literally like drinking chocolate milk. And it was like the right thickness for a stout. I don't know. It was just perfect. It might have helped that I was also having cheesecake with it, and there's nothing better than cheesecake. I will eat cheesecake
nice
slices
flavor profile.
like the pizza slices. I don't even need a plate. Just give me the slice, and I will eat it. I don't need a fork. I love cheesecake so much. Right here in Colorado, and I've been to California, some good places out there. But Colorado has just got so many options. I mean, we have the American Brew Fest out here, and tons of. If there's one thing that COVID has killed for me, I mean, there's tons of sad things, yes. But me personally, it's ruined. I mean, it's made my job better. I literally don't do anything now, thanks to it, and I get paid.
You didn't do anything before, man. Don't
Yeah, I don't.
Don't pat yourself on the back for that one.
I made accounts and then said, "Here you go." All the brew fests. We've got no brew fests anymore. Like that was one of my favorite things. I don't even care. You charge me $100, I'm gonna go to it. Like the different ones that cheese, the grilled cheese sandwich and beer one we went to.
Yeah, that was really good.
I miss all the brew fests that we have, and then I've yet to make it to the American Brew Fest festival, which I'm gonna go at some point, but I also have issues with which, like, I got this hoodie at a concert but I had to sit in the back because I have anxiety issues with big groups, especially concerts, because people like to get a little rowdy and drunk. Same with Brewfest. I have to kind of like navigate and stay away from crowds. The
I
American
think you need
Brewfest
to go. You should probably go to the festival a little boozy to get rid of your
yeah.
anxiety of people.
Well, yeah, at the concert, I just sat and clutched a beer and like drank Blue
Oh
Moon because that's
yeah.
what that I've been wanting to go, but I've been to plenty of other brew fests, and I mean we have which I was telling you about, and I still can't get his name right. Charlie Papazian, which is like the godfather of Brewfest and microbrews and stuff like that. I mean, he's the one that created the American Brewfest itself. He's up in Boulder. He lives in a tent or something. I don't know. He's like a professor who teaches how to make beer.
That's gonna be our pinnacle of our
That's the
show
top. I
right
just want
there.
to
It's
know more
gonna be
about him. Like,
yeah.
are you a mystical creature? Why do you live in a
He's
tent?
not a unicorn. He's a person.
Yeah, I want to know about this guy.
He's
a professor somewhere.
Dude, that's the cool thing about like beer, right? Is in homebrew is like you get these guys that are like uber smart, like way smarter than I am, and I'm just gonna throw this out there, way smarter than you are about like that type of stuff.
That's fine.
And they just like love it, and they like research nonstop, and then on top of their like research is like the need to know they just want to know all the stuff, so they're constantly just like making things and coming up with new creations and like throwing it out there. It's like your blueberry
so good
whatever. So it's like those guys, they're just who thinks about like literally drinking fruity pebbles in a can,
right.
I mean that's just like insane. So I mean those guys are just so smart, so creative, so adventurous, just like all the things, so to me I want to explore that, talk to the people that create that. Like
I want to find out more and how can I with this stuff. I mean, I went to Portland and had a one that was blueberries. It was amazing. It's so good.
Their minds are so big.
That makes Cocoa Puff one. I need to find that one. Wherever they have one beer called Stupid Sexy Flanders, and then another one that's Cocoa Puffs. I can't think of I keep hearing them on the radio. I can't think of which one they were.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Well, to wrap it up, give me a favorite beer. Don't matter if it's in Colorado. Where is it? What is it?
So to give you an idea of progression, like it was Heineken and then Blue Moon. And then now like I can't even drink those beers anymore. If I have to, I will. When I had that Blue Moon at the Bayside show, oh, it was terrible. I was like, man, I used to really like these things. Absolutely terrible. It just tastes watered down now. No offense to Blue Moon. I'll still drink you guys. I'll still give you my money occasionally. But which I want to go to that. There's like a Blue Moon bar in Denver that I've been wanting to go to.
Yeah, because you can get some like crazy like horchata,
that
something
one,
pomegranate. I don't even know, but it's like some insane stuff.
That horchata Blue Moon is delicious. They nailed that one. But favorite beer around town?
Not just in town. Like what's your favorite beer? What's your favorite beer profile? Give me.
I've been hooked on sours right now. I mean, I like to go the basic white dude every once in a while and go with IPAs, which I hadn't. I tried the first IPA I ever had was Stone IPA, which was so bad. But I didn't. I keep burping this beer. I didn't know what to expect when I first had an IPA. It was just me. I think I randomly went out because I had a roommate that was too lazy and just wanted to watch anime all the time. So I left and went out to a bar and tried the Stone IPA. I get when you have an IPA and no one warns you that it's definitely going to be a little more intense than a beer that you're used to. Yeah, it's weird. So maybe, and I've tried Stone again. It wasn't that bad, but it's not definitely as an IPA that I don't like. I've had other IPAs that are pretty good, but right now I've been hooked on the sours, which is what this is, which are so good. The sour IPAs are delicious. Or I'm always good with a good stout. I like stouts. the beer I've been hooked on, which they're up in Windsor, Colorado, High Hops. They have like a raspberry one that's really, really, really good. And then just here in the Springs, God, here in the Springs, I don't know. FH Brewery is probably the one I like a lot, or Fossil Brewery has some pretty decent. I mean, I try to do different kinds of beers every time that I go somewhere, but
Yeah.
High Hops has the Sticky Paws that I really like, which I think is like a blood orange type beer.
Huh. Interesting. I mean, I'm super excited about a lot of stuff that Colorado has to bring. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I try to travel, around the state pretty frequently, whether it's like snowboarding or camping. We already mentioned like the Buena Vista like type beer. I love Salida. Salida has a few really good breweries. One of my new favorites, it's been around for a little bit of time, but let's go with a little bit of this. If you can see that, can you see that?
Outer Range.
Outer Range, 2 pound
2 pound
10. Man, it's cheers. It's a good one, man. Double IPs are, as you know, are my jam, man. So anytime I can get my hand on some of those guys are where it's at. Even the hazies nowadays are like surprising me.
So I do like the Lost Friend had that a good hazy, like a good hazy IPA. I will definitely, if I see it on the menu, Cerberus is my favorite so far.
Cerberus has some pretty good.
IPA.
Yeah, they totally have some good hazy IPAs. And what's nice is they'll do like a limited or an anniversary or something like that, to where it's not something they have on their menu all the time, but it's a super good beer. So I don't know. I think it's cool. Just to sort of like wrap it up, I Colorado beers are amazing. So we're gonna showcase a lot of those beers around the state, and
all of them.
Hopefully all of them. I mean, that would be really cool,
Awesome.
And then we'll sort of showcase some other stuff. But I think as we sort of travel around the state, we'll sort of like showcase some beers and get some brewers on and like talk about, how we can create these beers. And, I think we'll talk about some coffee along the way as Brian falls asleep and I drench coffee all over, cold coffee, of course, not like, we don't want any McDonald's problems.
That guy, man, like, I burn myself. It's hot coffee. It's hot coffee. Like, I don't get it. Like, they cooked it.
And I think on that note, we will end it.
It's just stupid people, man.